Uh-oh. I don't know if this is going to do what I want. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Is this working? Oh, shit. Is this working? I think it is. Holy shit. Okay. Technical difficulties are now over. Technical difficulties are now over. Fuck yeah. Okay. Difficulties are now over. Now, man, what a weird system. Fucking using YouTube streaming and streaming through streamable OBS, scheduling a stream. Fucking hectic. Alright. I'll wait for some people to roll in here. Tried to schedule the stream so people could be notified when it would go live. I thought that would be beneficial to allow people who missed the other ones to chime in if they wanted to, because you can set a reminder for these streams. So if everything's working and you can see this, let me know. Comment. I just want to see that this is all fuego. Anyway, I'm going to do what I do every week, and that's start this with what's going on in this strange world. And that looks like looking at the update on our good friend, Mr. Corona. I wonder what the Corona, the alcohol beer brand are doing, because they really caught a bad, unfortunate timing and naming of their beverage. Now let's have a look at this. Johns Hopkins. I love their layout. Here we go. 3.42 million. 243,000. Oh, man. It's just... I learned something interesting though. Everybody says that they compare the flu to this. They have done historically for months and months, and as time goes on, it becomes more evident that this is not the flu, or this is not alike to the flu. So what we see instead is something that is more spreadable, something that has a higher case fatality ratio, even if it just ends up being 5 to 10 times worse. That is still significant. But everybody's saying that, the flu kills somewhere between average, you'll hear like 50-ish to like bad years would be like 85, 95,000 in the US only. Okay, so we're just talking about USA. However, I'm like, that's useless to me. We can't compare worldwide deaths of one virus to a country's deaths of another. It's like it's not statistically reliable. So instead, I tried to figure out. I learnt that, well, there's 4 of you watching, 5 of you, 6 of you watching. Comment below if you can hear me and see me all right. Whoa, that's trippy. You don't want that. Here we go. And then how many kill the flu each year worldwide? How many kill the flu? How many killed by the flu each year worldwide? And then I learned it was like 250,000 to 500,000 a year. Okay, so we're at about that right now. In about 4 or 5 months. So that's interesting and concerning. However, I heard that the statistics. Thank you, Power Matrix. How to master the dark arts. Do you know how to master the dark arts? What a name. So when we compare the flu now to 250 to 500,000 deaths worldwide. Okay, cool. Okay. But then I heard, and I haven't vetted this information, but I heard that apparently a lot of these deaths are recorded attributed to the flu, but they haven't established causality. They have made rough estimates. What I mean is that they haven't tested the individual who died from the flu. They didn't actually test them for, influenza A or B. I don't know how accurate that is, but I just think there's more information we need to know on all of this. And I feel very fortunate to live all the way down here, where we only have, nearly 7,000 cases. Daily cases are really plateauing. They have been for weeks now, which is amazing. We're doing a great job. I think the world is coming together in some unique ways. However, I'm seeing some interesting behavior from people protesting. People think the restrictions should be lifted. They want to go back to work. And I understand. I get it. It's like you want to continue your livelihood. You want to go back to your life because most people's lives have been put on hold. And so the problem with this is you going out and protesting. And I'm going to pull up a video right now of something I got sent. You going out and protesting, it just prolongs it. I really think it just prolongs the restrictions because you're gathering in groups of dozens and hundreds. You want your voice to be heard for sure. You feel strongly about something, you let your voice be heard. But I don't know, man. Like, here we go. I'm going to pull it up right now.
I'm here to protest the virus.
I'm here to protest the...
You say that it's not as deadly as they say it is.
I'm surprised to see it in New York, because New York's getting hit hard. It's BS.
Why are you blocking us?
Whoa, stop. How did he spell corona? Stop. Oh, Cuomo. I thought he spelled corona wrong. He said fuck Cuomo, the governor of New York. I thought Cuomo was doing a great job, actually. Just outside looking in, objective, I have no stake in the game. Cuomo, I've seen some conferences he spoke at, and he seems to be really holding it together. And it, like through all the stress and anxiety of your town and city going to shit, he really seems to be holding it together, which is awesome to see and hear. Like he's taking it seriously. He's trying to be a leader. He seems to have empathy and compassion, and he seems to be trying to make diligent, assertive decisions without emotion, which you gotta respect. But just so you guys know, from my Americans, when people outside of America watch this, and this just gets me. Let me hear that again, lady.
I learned a lot about the Illuminati and Freemasons and the secret societies that actually run our country.
Got it. She learned a lot about the Illuminati and secret societies used to run our country. Yeah, maybe they did. I don't know what that got to do with the coronavirus.
And how they control our air, food, and water. And frankly, it's hard for me to sleep at night knowing that.
Take your mask off and we'll talk.
Yeah. So when people see videos outside of America like this is how a lot of the stigma and stereotypes that a lot of non-Americans get to know America by, because they see these videos, right? A lot of them haven't traveled to America before. They see these videos. Look at this kid. This kid doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's like, let me hold this sign up. One day he's going to be, get Cuomo out of New York. Coronavirus. Wow. That's creative. I see what you did there. Now that's interesting. Live free or die. I'm like doing a psychoanalysis of this video. Live free or die. Well, I think that's the troublesome thing, is that people's freedoms are getting inhibited so people can live. However, as a result, they don't feel like they're living free. And from my understanding, from a lot of my Americans, that you guys pride yourselves on the, the Fifth Amendment? Is it the one where you have the right to freedom? What is this? Fifth Amendment, criminal... Oh, no. Second Amendment is the gun law. I think you have to bear arms. I don't know, but freedom, liberty is a big sense of pride for you guys, from my understanding, and that when that gets taken away, chaos ensues in a lot of ways, because it is so important, and it's been such a foundational fabric of your society. So I understand. I don't understand why this guy's wearing a mask. Maybe ironically. You must look. There's people wearing masks. There's people protesting wearing masks. Is that a bit of a contradiction? Is that a bit of a contradiction? I ain't got those things. You know, here's the thing. This is a weird thing when, so for those who are just listening, I got someone commenting who has a DP of a promiscuous female. Whenever you see, there's no girls, almost never are those girls behind the keyboard. Almost never. It's always some dude or some old, weird guy just behind a keyboard, hiding, just trying to get some next, I don't know what you want to call it, the next pleasure-seeking thrill. Anyway.
That open window over there.
What's this lady saying? So this is how a lot of non-Americans view America.
I think it hit the roof of my car. I haven't been to the other side.
Oh, I love that bumper sticker. Who killed JFK? No New World Order. Yeah, what is that? What is the New World Order? Is this someone... I am a cam girl, I am real, I'm promoting myself, but this will cost you money. What do you think you're gonna come on my stream? And I'm gonna pay you money. Bitch, you come on my stream, you pay me money. Oh my goodness. Big Boobs Cam Girl Brittany. That's a nice name. It just flows off the tongue. Oh god, that gets me. Oh, good lord. Oh, Jesus. Anyway. Oh, someone help me. Yeah, so this is the New World Order. New World Order, what is that? The New World Order is claimed to be an emerging, clandestine, totalitarian world government by various conspiracy theories. Clandestine. I like the sound of clandestine. It sounds, Thank you. First Amendment, freedom of speech. Thank you. Yes! That's one of them. And then it's like, there's a right to freedom and liberty of the individual. First Amendment prevents the government from making laws which regulate the establishment of religion, prohibit the free exercise of religion. Wait, hold on. Prohibit. Let me read that. Guarantees freedoms concerning religion, expression, assembly, and the right to petition. It forbids Congress from both promoting one religion over others, and also restricting individuals' religious practices. Okay. Oh, that's fair enough. You should be free to practice whatever belief system that you'd like. However, people take that far, don't they? The New Order is claimed to be an emerging clandestine totalitarian. And by the way, if anybody's watching this, you guys got questions or comments, just chuck them below. Like Big Boobs Cam Girl Brittany, who tried to get me to tried to get me to support her service. I respect your service. That's got to be popping off though, doesn't it? Like, surely cam girls are popping off nowadays, aren't they? Because people are at home, people are lonely. Some people are just accumulating money from the government, or they just have savings. Surely they're going to spend it on some things like that. Big boobs cam girl Brittany, I think if you're still watching this, that there is this is a good time for you and your service. However, I don't think it's during YouTube live streams. I think that the person live streaming is not gonna. Oh, maybe I should. Big boobs cam girl Brittany. I wonder, because I can screen share. I'm not gonna pay you anything, but if you want some exposure, then if you're still watching this, you know, I don't know. Is there any way to? How do you verify your identity? If there's any way to verify your identity, I think there's one way we can make this stream a lot more entertaining. So if you're still watching this and you don't want $, $, that's $3. That means that's hundreds. That means serious business. But it's a good time. I guess it's a good time to be a cam girl. Probably not the best time to be a porn star, but do they really care? I mean, how safe are they going to be? I mean, probably the professional ones, but I don't know. As we were reading, the New World Order is a conspiracy theory claimed to be an emerging clandestine totalitarian world government by various conspiracy theories. The common theme is conspiracy theories about a New World Order is that a secretive power elite with globalist... You sound like goddamn Alex Jones in here. With globalist agenda is conspiring to eventually rule the world through an authoritarian world government, which will replace sovereign nation states, an oral, encompassing propaganda whose ideology hails the establishment of the New World Order. As the culmination of history's progress. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Many influential historical and contemporary figures have therefore been alleged to be a part of a cabal that operates through many front organizations to orchestrate significant political and financial events, ranging from causing systemic crises to pushing through controversial policies at both national and international levels as steps in an ongoing plot to achieve world domination. Okay, got it. So, there is a group, or groups, that, with their influence, power, and money, control the order of events in the world. Maybe stock markets, maybe crises, things like these pandemics. Makes me think of Westworld and how it's an amazing TV show if you haven't seen it. How, let me get rid of this. How in that show they try and display, what are they displaying? Oh, that they build a machine called Rehoboam. Rehoboam is a machine that predicts people's behavior and society's behavior, and it's based on big data. And so there's this idea. So if you've seen that Netflix documentary that talks about Cambridge Analytica and how they used all that data from like every single American in I think they had data on like every single American, like thousands of data points, and they used that data to show them and basically do predictive personality, like Big Five, like Jordan Peterson talks about these Big Five personality traits. So they assessed markers of, say for example, conscientiousness, of neuroticism, which is sensitivity to negative emotion. And so they assessed all these, they basically created these personality maps of millions and millions, hundreds of millions of Americans, it seems like, and they used this information to present certain, I would say it's propaganda, but certain information, certain political information that would trigger the individual towards their side that they're already on, or further away from it, so trigger them towards emotion, to create more of an uprise and create at an individual level controversy, and then at a systemic level a bit of disorder and chaos that could basically manipulate one's decision making. And so in this TV show, which is set in the 2050s, there is this, imagine like Mark Zuckerberg, who has Facebook and WhatsApp and all this data. Instagram has an incredible amount of data. Imagine now he's using this data to, it's gotten so good that he can predict, and that he has a set of he has an algorithm that basically can predict society and can predict. It can do multiple predictive levels of like the stock market and of what decisions people are going to make. What's your tendency going to be towards suicide, or what is your likelihood to get married? And it basically, they manipulate the world through this Rehoboam system, because they can do predictive mapping based on your personality and your past, your genetics, and then they manipulate their society and the individual's decisions in a way that predispose them towards a pre-planned destiny that this machine has essentially written for them. And so it's really this question of free will versus non-free will, that there's fate and that you can't control your fate. But it's the idea of like the fate is written for you based on data, based on big data, based on data that's accumulated that their companies are accumulating on us every single day, that try and put advertisements in front of us to make money, but then goes one further, and that steps one further into trying to manipulate your decisions in life towards or away from something, a set of characteristics or a set of behaviors. So it's very interesting. Yeah, I mean that's all I got on that. The New World Order. So I think if anyone's got any determinism, possibly. What is determinism? So determinism, possibly. That's intense. Determinism is the philosophy theory that all events, including moral choices, are completely determined by previous existing causes. Theory that all events, including moral choices, are completely determined by previously existing causes. Determinism is usually understood to preclude free will because it entails that humans cannot act otherwise than they do. What do they mean by previously existing causes? Interesting. The determinist approach proposes that all behavior has a cause and is thus predictable. Free will is an illusion, and our behavior is governed by internal or external forces over which we have no control. Fuck. Someone call us Sam Harris. Determinist approach that all behavior causes thus. I sometimes think that. I sometimes think like what's about to happen has already happened. What's about to happen is already... Let me just post. No, I can't. Any questions, post them in the chat. Cool. So, this idea that what's about to... I sometimes think that. what's about to happen has already happened. And what I mean by that is it's already done. No, look at that. It's myself. Any questions, person? Yep. That whatever's about. Yeah, it's a very simple phrase. I sometimes say to them, whatever's about to happen has already happened. Like when dealing with events that are a bit out of my control, or someone else is dealing with events that are out of their control, and just to come to terms and come to peace with the uncertainty and the lack of control that one might have. It's like, what's going to happen with this coronavirus? It's already happened. It's done, right? X amount of people are dead, X amount of people are infected, X amount of people are ill, X economy is affected and destroyed, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's already happened. It doesn't mean we can't. I don't know if it means we can't control it, but I think individuals, like you, I don't know if it matters. Like this determinist view that all behaviors it has a cause and is thus predictable, like, because sometimes it's what you feel that matters most, because your feeling is your reality. And so even if even if we're in a simulation, for example, even if determinism is real and that, free will is an illusion, our behavior is governed by internal or external forces over which we have no control, I think it doesn't matter because people feel like they have control. Like, I feel like I have control. Like, I took a decision today to do this live stream, okay? I have a decision on what I'm going to do after this, okay? Now, maybe all those decisions are pre-planned and pre-written. Maybe they are. But does that change the fact that I feel like I have control? And I don't think it does. And so I don't think it matters too much. Maybe it does on an existential level of like, who are we? What are our purpose in this universe? For these philosophical questions, maybe they do matter, but for the feeling it is to be a human being and a feeling of control and the feeling of free will that one has, maybe it doesn't matter so much, because I'm going to do what I'm going to plan to do anyway. Like, I have a plan for my days, I have a plan for my weeks, I have a plan for my months, and I will execute those. And when something goes wrong, I respond to it, or at least I feel like I can respond to it, even though determinism determines that our behavior, maybe I'm misinterpreting it, our behavior is governed by internal and external forces over which we have no control. So is that also assuming the internal forces of like our emotion, of our genetics that we have no control over, the internal forces of our perceived free will, of my perceived ability to move my hands in this way and speak this way? Like, is that all written? Maybe. Does it matter? I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I really don't know. I don't know if it changes much. At least for me at an individual level, I don't think it changes like how I act. I think it's an interesting conversation philosophically, but I don't know if it really matters. Actually, I know I got some questions from Facebook. If you guys don't have me on Facebook, I have a Facebook page where I put all this stuff up as well, because I believe that no one should bet all their chips in one basket. I think one of the biggest mistakes we make with anything in life is that we put all our eggs in one basket. And like, for example, maybe you want to grow a business, and your Instagram is pretty big, as many people's are, and you're a fucking quote unquote influencer, whatever the hell that means. You have people following you and you have some influence over people. I'm gonna stop that scrolling sound. What was I saying? The fact that I forgot what the fuck I was saying. Oh, eggs in one basket. No, I'll answer that question real quick. That's a great question. What books do you recommend that can have a huge impact on your perspective on life? I get asked this quite often because I do obviously book summaries. And I really want to do the book Sapiens, and I'm anticipating to hopefully this year, but I'm just fucking busy. And sometimes make me think like maybe I should have separated this channel, done a Talking Chimps channel and done like a personal channel, but I'm like, fuck it. I'll put it all together. Like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do what the fuck I want to do. Like, sometimes you just overthink things like this. And like, speaking of it, it's like putting all eggs in one basket. A lot of people do that. With their business, and like, I'm only going to sell on this website. I'm only going to be active on this social media. I'm like, you got to diversify. It's just like assets. You want to diversify your assets, just like money. You want to diversify your income streams. You do not want to put, I think the biggest one is like a lot of people are realizing now that their income streams are very, very limited. You only have one, maybe two if you're lucky, income streams. That is a huge mistake. You got to have multiple income streams, minimum two. Because when one gets taken away, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when your income stream gets taken away? As it has now, people relying on the government to pay them money. Now, here's my question. What the fuck is going to happen when this shit finishes? What's going to happen? People have borrowed all this money, okay? Like, my government, I'll give you an example. The government, they've given a lot of fucking money to its citizens. Like, they were really helping them out. I'll give you an example. So, first off, they started off with one-off payments of 750 Australian dollars, okay? And you could, this would be equivalent of, like, if you're talking American, this is like the equivalent of, like, plus 40% to it. Plus 40%? Yeah, so call it 1,200 or something. One-off payments they started with. Then, for people who, there's job seeker and job keeper. So for people who have been unemployed, they get one component of fortnightly money from the government. And people who are who have been laid off, they get another. Well, I think I just said the same thing. Anyway, there's two different components, and they can basically, the government will give you. So I wonder how, if anybody is in a similar situation, how much is your government giving you or giving its citizens? Because one, they started off with the $750 one-off payment, and then they're doing a weekly $1,500. Is it weekly? Fuck, I think it is. Weekly $1,500. Job seeker? No, job keeper payments. So what this means is that, okay, $1,500, $1,500 per fortnight. Fucking, I know fuckers who weren't making fucking half that. So basically, the government's giving them more money than they were actually earning, because $1,500 a fortnight, you know, let me do that, times 52. What? That's 78 grand a year. That's 78 fucking grand a year. That's a pretty decent living for the average person. Like, you can rent a decent place, you can pay your overheads for utilities, and you can be comfortable to go out to nice places and travel a little bit. Like, that's a decent living if you control your expenses. 78 grand. A lot of fuckers are not earning 78 grand and now getting these job keeper payments. And you better fucking use that money wisely, because guess what? What the fuck is going to happen after? Right? What's going to happen after? After the government gives out, they're processing hundreds and thousands of claims. They're giving out fucking tens of millions of dollars. It's like fucking Oprah. You get this. You get a check. When this all comes around, it's not just Australia, it's the whole world. Like, Martin's telling me $1,200 stimulus check and an extra $600 a week for unemployment for California. Okay, you're getting $600 a week. Okay, so that's actually kind of similar. Like, we're talking similar amounts of money here. Interesting how it works out to be we're all on a similar page. When all these billions and billions, maybe trillions, I don't even know, of dollars get borrowed from where? I don't know. You just printed money, you're just giving it out. Apparently, I heard that from one of my clients that we're borrowing the money from China. I don't know how true that is, but if it is, then China's really trying to really make us some bank. They're going to really have some leverage over us. Exactly. Benny, people's taxes will crush their checks in 2021. Absolutely. How are they going to make their money back? They got to tax you out of this world. Now, however, I don't know, like, I've heard, maybe I'm wrong, can they tax, like, every state's different. Can they tax the income you made from this? I know some places don't. If you're eligible, will they, because if they probably will tax it. Can they tax job keeper payment? Because if they do, America had to pay you must pay a minimum. So basically the businesses are paying their federal FICA. I've heard of FICA. I'm going to look up just for the people who are listening and don't know what that is. Or maybe you can explain it faster than I can. Federal FICA is an insurance contributions act directed towards employees and employees to fund Social Security and Medicare. Right, so like basic fees to fund like government things. Yeah, it's going to get squirrely, man. I don't think if you are receiving money from the government right now, do not, I don't want to say do not spend it. Like, you're going to need to spend it on things you need to spend, like food and utilities and basic living expenses. But please do not spend all of it. Fuck, put at least 50% away. Every time you get it, chuck 50% away, because the government's going to come back for it. How are they going to fucking make their money back? You don't want to live in a country that's completely in debt and now for years and years has to recoup all that money that they gave you. They're going to come for it. They have to. Like, what's the alternative? I'm not an economist, I'm not an expert on this shit, but what is the alternative? Like, I think the alternative is that a lot of people are going to go broke. A lot of people are going to struggle hard. I think the suicides and the downstream consequences of this pandemic are going to be multifaceted. Get ready for it. Just put it away. Be smart. Don't spend it all, because if you spend it majority now and a year's time the fuckers come back and they can change the laws. The governments will change laws and regulations like that. Just look at this whole situation. They're changing laws like fucking that, man. I can go out, the police catch me in not going to an essential service, and I get someone who's putting out fines immediately, he's not giving warnings, I can get fined like $1,000. That's no small amount of money for the average person. That's like a fortnightly check for some people, right? People don't want to have to pay those fines, but they're doing it. That's now exists. There's restrictions on freedom of movement. It's never existed before in our lifetime. So if they can do things like that on the drop of a hat, then you can be damn sure that they can justify taxing fucking 50% on your income, which is a ridiculous amount, but it's actually not far off like 100,000+ tax brackets or 250,000 tax brackets. The fact that you consuming the same amount of resources if you make $1 million, $250,000. I'm gonna show you. Let me show you right now. Tax Australia, and we'll do America too, just because fuck it, why not? We'll do the US. I'll do a comparison of USA tax brackets versus. Oh, and another thing about tax. Where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go? Someone tell me. Where does it go? Okay, yeah, I know it goes to the roads, it goes to the utilities, it goes to the emergency services. That's awesome, amazing. But like, where does it go? How much does it go there? How's the distribution? Why don't we know? Why don't they tell us? How many little fuckers in the government are pulling out, I'm gonna take that 0.5%. Oh, no one will notice how much tax gets paid in your country per year. A group of people maybe come together and just take money from it because they have the power to do so. Anyway, I can't articulate that as well because that's just a not a conspiracy theory, but it's just a possible theory. So I'm gonna get rid of myself here. What I'm looking at, Australian income tax rates. So if you make 0 to 18,000 in Australia, you don't have to pay any tax. So good. You know what? You're starting out. You start out on a kind of a strong get up on your feet. Oh, America, 0 to 9,000. You pay 10%. So you have no leeway for flexibility there. Interesting. But when we go to the next tax bracket, we go 19% from 18,000 to 37,000, whereas America it's only at 12% for up to 40,000. Interesting. And then from 40,000 to 84,000, America has 22%, and that's equivalent to Australia's 37,000 to 90,000. We have a 32.5% tax increase. However, we also have to be considerate that our dollars are not equivalent. So I think the disparity in the currency difference actually makes up the percentage differences pretty well here. 90,000 to 180,000, in Australia, you will pay 37%. Oh, there's more rows. Let's go deeper. Excuse me. Okay. All right. 180,000 over, you're paying 45%. They are taking nearly half of your damn income. Whereas in America, you have 500,000 or more, and you're paying 37%. That's still nearly, what is that? It's more than a third. I'm trying to bracket it out. It's nearly half, but it's not as close to half as Australia. So, it's a lot of fucking money. Now, I'd love to know, where does that go? Shouldn't we know? Maybe part of voting should be deciding as a collective population where we would like the money to go. Now, I'm not saying the citizens should get full control, because I think there should be experts in the matter on government level who also get a say as well. Maybe they get more of a say, or maybe it's 50-50. I don't know. But maybe certain citizens, maybe if you're paying this tax bracket at above, but that really creates some classism, doesn't it? That really creates classes very distinctively. Like, you get more rights than me because you make more money than me. Yeah, that's slippery. I don't know. I don't know the answer, because this is a slippery subject. But I think people smarter than me and groups of people who are smart can come together and figure this out. Because the government's going to come for your motherfucking money. They're going to come. Pause. And they're going to, after you borrow this money, what the fuck's going to be the consequence of that? What, depression? Economic depression? Economic recession is arguably already here, right? So it's an opportune time when there is adversity, there is an equal seed of benefit and opportunity to be found. And I heard another quote: a crisis is an opportunity riding a dangerous wave. Okay, a crisis is an opportunity riding a dangerous wave. So ride that fucking dangerous wave and take advantage of this. Okay, I'll give you another example. Like my universities, I go to university. I'm studying. I will study for probably a very long time in my life. I want to learn a lot. However, they're giving $500 checks out to bank deposits, direct bank deposits to people who are struggling. And you just justify by this drop-down box, Are you struggling in this way? Your family's been affected, your personal income, you've been employed. All right, you write a short sentence, been accepted. Boom, here's $500. Okay, so there's more money that can be, because the government's now working with universities. There's more money, right? It doesn't end. Money is coming in from fucking everywhere, right? It's amazing because people can support themselves. But at the same time, people are getting bailed out. Businesses and people are getting bailed the fuck out. And I know people, like, this is very serious for a lot of people. Some people live check to check, right? I'm not, because I know better, right? But at the same time, some people aren't taught better. Some people just don't have better. Some people don't have the tools. They don't have the tools. They never got taught the tools necessary to be equipped for these crises, these dangerous, risky situations. They never got taught. They never learnt. They never went out to learn. They never had the enthusiasm or the want. They never thought about it. And now they're caught off guard. Then they're panicking. And now they don't know how they're going to feed their children if this keeps going for 6 months. Now they don't know they don't know if they're going to have to move in with their family again. Right? This is a very real thing for so many people. Right? I love this. I love this time. This is fucking exciting for me. I'm getting so much done. You know, I figured out how to do this shit, for example. That's pretty cool. Figured out how to put space behind me in this green screen, which fucking looks tremendous. If I do say so myself. So this is a great time for me, right? I'm excited because I recognize the seed of opportunity in this adversity. I recognize this is a time for investments, which I'm doing in businesses and stocks. Now, am I an expert? Fuck no. Am I taking some risk? Fuck yeah. But a crisis is an opportunity riding dangerous wind, and I'm going to ride that fucking dangerous wind and just see where it takes me. Okay? I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to be strategic. I'm going to save my money. I'm going to invest my money. And I'm going to continue chasing my personal legend all through this, you know? Gyms are closed. For those who don't know, I'm a health coach, health professional, strength and conditioning coach, blah, blah, blah. I'm a generalist. I'm a generalist coach, okay? And so as a result, gyms are closed. Oh, no, fuck, gyms are closed. What am I going to do? I can't coach my athletes and clients. Of course I can. I can do one-on-ones. That's the maximum we can do legally. Outdoors. We've got a little home gym set up. Take advantage of that. I train in it. I take advantage of that. I can still maintain my business. I can take all my clients online and coach them remotely. Find your version of that opportunity. This has never been better. This year has been the best for me for my profession, my vocation. It's getting better. I'm making more money. I'm helping more people. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. I mean, some things are serendipitous, some things are luck, some things are coincidence. Absolutely, for sure. But I am using this time to refine and create a really refine and build a system, a strong system within my profession and vocation. And you can too. You can too. Make an analysis. Analyze. Get your shit tight, man. Get your fucking shit tight. And what I mean by that, because what the hell does that mean? You say, like, There are holes and weaknesses in all our buckets. And it's time for us to plug those fuckers. Plug those fuckers in. Right? We're getting exposed right now. Getting exposed as a society and as individuals. And it's time we plug our holes and our weaknesses. So I'm doing that. I'm like, okay. And I'm refining it and I'm improving it. And it feels good because I'm like, this is how you create a prosperous future right here. This is how you do it. In an adversity, you find the opportunity and you ride it. You ride it. Because the alternative is chaos. You have to learn from this. You have to take the situation and make yourself better, or you're gonna get overwhelmed. And maybe you do get overwhelmed, but you can come out of that. You can definitely come out of that. You can get overwhelmed and come out of it more positive. Sometimes the stress and anxiety people go through really cripples them, but often it can serve as a catalyst for amazing growth. Power Matrix says, it's time to work on our insecurities and seize the historical moment. Yes, exactly. It is a historical moment. Well said. It's a historical moment. And you know what I love? When people say it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. I'm going to show you a graph that maybe suggests that's true, maybe suggests that's not true. I'm going to show you an amazing, because people, I think it's a big mistake saying this is a once-in-a-lifetime event, because it's philosophically lazy, and I'll explain why that is. Okay, I'm going to share something on my screen here. All right, so what I'm looking at is the history of pandemics. Oh, actually, I'm gonna get rid of me. You don't need to see me. The history of pandemics is what I'm about to look at. There. Okay. A pandemic is a disease prevalent over a whole country or the world, which it nearly is pretty much. It's like, goddamn, almost the whole world, which is pretty profound. Alright. So throughout history, humans spread across the world. Infectious diseases have been a constant companion. Even in modern era, outbreaks are nearly constant. Here are some history's most deadly pandemics, from the Antonine Plague to the novel coronavirus. Now, so the Antoine Plague, we're looking at, like, this was ages ago. Like, year is this? We're looking at year 0. Look at that, year 0, year 200. Can you believe that? Year 0. It's such a weird thing to say. The Antoine Plague apparently killed 5 million people. Okay. Such a long time ago. Just fucking how many people ago was that? We're just a blip. We're just a blip in existence. Look at that. 2,000 years ago. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Plague of Justinian, 541 to 552, 30 to 50 million people. And the size of these balls represent the relative size of deaths, of how basically impactful it was. We have yellow fever in the 1800s, killed 100 to 150,000, but basically my point is, like, are these once in a lifetime events? So if a lifetime is 80 to 100 years, yeah, we can see that these things are happening, about every 100 years. Earlier on, it was maybe a bit more spread out, but who knows how accurate some of that history was. It's very hard to get accurate history from there. But when we get into the 1800s, all right, we have the cholera 6 outbreak that killed 1 million. The fucking hell, that lasted for, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, it lasted from 1817 to 1923. Jesus Christ. Wow. The third plague, 12 million, 1855. So that was, there's twice in a lifetime, okay? The Spanish flu, 1918. For some people, that would have been 3 times in a lifetime, okay? Cholera, third plague, Spanish flu. Russian flu. And I mean 3 times in a lifetime for the world. I don't mean as an individual, because they're localized to a different country. The Russian flu. And these people say, like, oh, I shouldn't call it the Chinese flu, the Wuhan virus. I mean, the virus nomenclature has been defined to regions often. Like, there's many examples, like Spanish, Russian, Asian flu, Hong Kong flu. Like, we've called these things that before. Like, people forget, I think, because we're disconnected from history, but Asian flu was 1.1 million people in the 1950s. Hong Kong flu was in 1968 to 1970, killed 1 million people. We slightly did it with the MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, 2017 to present. And so now we're looking at the present. Oh, geez, I haven't even got to the highest yet. HIV AIDS, 25 to 35 million, 1981 to the present. So this was created in March 15, 2020. March 15, 2020. Guess how many deaths there were? Just guess. I just want you to make a mental guess. No, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. If you're watching this, if you haven't commented yet, just do it. Just comment. Oh, actually, you're seeing the screen. That's dumb of me. You can see how many deaths there were. In March 15, there were 6.4 thousand coronavirus deaths. 6.4 in March 15. How many weeks later is March 15? So I'm going to look at my calendar. We're looking at 1 month, 5, 6, 7. We're about 7 weeks later. We're at 260 plus thousand deaths. That's a big increase in 6-7 weeks. Okay, so we've surpassed the swine flu, which was 200,000. We've surpassed Ebola, which was 11,000. In fact, coronavirus has become the biggest pandemic in the last, what was that, 50 years? Since the Hong Kong flu. Oh, if you count the HIV and AIDS. If you count HIV and AIDS, it's not. But if you discount HIV and AIDS, then it is. But the highest, and we get to these giant ones, death toll, the Black Death bubonic plague. 200 million. That is a gargantuan number that is so hard to comprehend. The plague originated in rats and spread to humans and via infected fleas. It wiped out 30 to 50% of Europe's population, and it took more than 200 years for the continent's population to recover. Talk about hard times creating hard men. It doesn't get much harder than that. 200 million, 30 to 50% of Europe's population. You know how many people you must know who have died? Like, I don't know anybody. I'm so fortunate that I don't know anybody who knows anybody who's got the coronavirus. Now, you guys might feel different. Maybe you do. I'm in a region, an area of Melbourne and Australia where we're doing a great job. We just don't have that many active cases. We're really flattening the curve. It's awesome. It's amazing. So I'm very fortunate. I feel fortunate. However, there's many who aren't and know people who have got it and who have died from it. But this is the point. The whole point of bringing that up was to show you that you can see events happening not once in every lifetime. They were happening multiple times in every lifetime. Okay? So one, that's a mistake and factually incorrect. Number two is that it's not just about these pandemic events happening once in a lifetime. It's about a pandemic-like event. It's about an event that can trigger a cataclysmic effect of adverse circumstances, to poverty, to food shortages, to panic, to riots, to all the things that we're seeing that this pandemic is affecting, to social restrictions, to government restrictions, to freedom of movement restrictions. This can happen again and will happen again because it's not the only event and circumstance that can cause these types of events. For example, natural disasters. Now, while these are localized usually to countries in specific regions, and we are affected to them by proxy, natural disasters contribute and cause, like we had bad wildfires and bushfires last year in Australia. Really bad. Worst I've ever seen in my lifetime. Right? That there's other examples like terrorist attacks, natural disasters, space anomalies, asteroids, solar flares. These are all projected to occur and have occurred. It's just the when that we aren't smart enough to know exactly yet, because it's so difficult to predict some of these things. There's apparently supposed to be some asteroid that's supposed to fly past us pretty soon, like a big motherfucker. Right? Just fly past and just tempt us, just to say hello, and that, hey, how you doing? Your existence is finite, and we can drop down and end it all in just a second. Just a little reminder. So we need to be prepared for all of it. Okay? Do you have a power supply? What happens if the power goes out? The power grid goes out. Do you have a power supply? I just bought one. A Jackery 500 watt. Okay? You should get one. Everyone should get one, because then we don't have to rely. Just do it, because then you don't have to go when shit hits the fan. You don't have to go steal now for your family. You don't have to go rob people and fight people to keep your family safe and alive, right? Because you have influenced and impacted enough people to be self-sustaining on their own, all right? And it's probably risk me even saying that, because now I put myself as a target. Oh, if shit hits the fan, Alexander's got some shit. All right, it's a risk. It's a risk, but I don't know. It's a risk at this point I'm worth taking, because I'm not just talking. I want to walk the walk and demonstrate that I'm making those investments. It's just expensive. It's like nearly $1,000 for a good power generator. It runs off solar panels. I'm gonna get some solar panels and just be prepared. Good night, man. Good night, Power Matrix. I've done more of these. I've already done two. I do these almost every week with people or by myself. So sleep well. I will do more of these in the future. Doing something with people in the future. So just be prepared, man. Be prepared, because you're gonna get caught off guard eventually. And the strong survive, but the prepared thrive. Be prepared. Preparation dictates performance. All right. So if you guys got any last questions, I'm going to answer Martin's question: what books I recommend that can have a huge impact on perspective on your life. It's a good question. And so what I've done is I have created a link for this. I basically created a shop, if you will, that lists all my favorite books that have impacted me the most, that I will share with you guys below, and I'll read out some for those who are just listening. Paulo Coelho is a recent one that I've reread. It's an amazing fiction book that I recommend. Just like some pre-sleep reading to calm your body down and get you sleepy, which I find is very beneficial. So for everybody else, I just put that in the comments, which you can see in the video at a later date. But I'll show you as well. I'll show you. So the Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, really recommend that if you want a fiction book. I wasn't a big fiction reader back in the past or historically, but that is one of the best ones I've read, and I highly, highly recommend it. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. You can see on my channel that I've done every single rule. I've reviewed it. I've analyzed it. I've created these video summaries on them. I've done the same thing with the 48 Levels of Power and How to Influence People. All three books that are incredible. But I would say most recently, 12 Rules for Life has had the biggest impact. And then historically, in the past, when I was younger, 48 Laws of Power and How to Influence People. How to Influence People is it's like this 70, 80-year-old book that is just the basic principles of human behavior. They're super, super practical. It's like 48 Laws of Power, but like distilled and super practical and down to earth, and doesn't. But I love 48 Laws of Power though, because it talks about all these historic examples of power and influence, manipulation, mistakes people have made, and how that translates to today's era. So I think all are incredible books. For the men out there, I have a category called Growing into a Man, and one of them is The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. I think it's a book that every man should read. I think it's basically gives you tools and thought-provoking philosophies on how to navigate relationships, women, the opposite sex. What are your standards? How to develop your standards as a man. Something that I don't think a lot of young men get taught because they lack strong father figure role models. And so I think that's particularly profound for me, and I'd really recommend it. So I'd start with those. And I will be reading Laws of Human Nature and hopefully summarizing Sapiens. Sapiens is an amazing book if you want to just get away from self-help and you want to talk about. I should really add that here. I need to add that. I can do it right now. I'll do it later. Sapiens is a Human History of Mankind by Yuval Noah Harari. It's an incredible book that I would really, really recommend. Human History of Mankind, summarizing just so many important points about how we got here. How did we get from fucking chimps to all these different variations of Homo sapiens to here? Like, we're 2% DNA away from just being a chimpanzee. Like, Jesus Christ. All right, I think I'm gonna keep a shorter stream today. If you guys got any last comments, questions, put them below. I'll give you guys about 20-30 seconds to do that. In the meantime, you guys can see all these things on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'll post snippets of highlights of past videos if you want to just get the 5-10 minute chunks. I do that on YouTube too. I need to do that more. And then Twitter, I put like just profound quotes and just things I'm thinking that are really interesting to me. I do that on Facebook too, actually. So those will be the places if you want to find out more. I'll be doing this in person again pretty soon, and I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned for that. Dylan Walters, do you also practice semen retention? I don't know what the fuck that is. I can assume what that is. You're gonna have to elaborate on that, but I can understand. David Deida actually talks about. Is it The Multi-Orgasmic Man? There's a book called The Multi-Orgasmic Man. I don't know who that's by. David Deida talks a lot about sex and basically regaining control over your sexual power, your sexual energy. Basically not busting as much. Oh, okay. Should have just said that. Look. Martin, only in November. What's only in November? No, not November. I think that a lot of guys are addicted to the feeling of pleasure, right? They're addicted to the feeling of pleasure, and they use porn as a vehicle to escape and chase this heightened sense of acute short-term pleasure. And then Dylan Walters, yes, we think it makes us really weak, to be honest. And you know what, Dylan? I think there's something to that. I'll argue both sides. I think when an energy builds up in a man and he feels the need to fucking... That's what it is. You know, we're chasing this ephemeral, heightened, orgasmic feeling, right? Why? Why are we... How much of it is primitive? How much is it evolutionary? Like, I see a beautiful woman and my chimp DNA switches on and I want to procreate with that and spread my seed to the world. How much is that? How much of it is primitive and evolutionary? And how much of it should we respect our primitive evolution? And how much of it is old? How much of that is just old DNA and old coding that we should learn to control and master our own willpower or lack of willpower, right? Master our senses, master control of our brain, somatosensory, like brain and body, right? I think that I practice discipline, Dylan. I practice discipline. And so for me, discipline comes in many forms. It comes in exercising every day. It comes in reading every day. It comes in eating whole nutritious foods. And it comes in also forms of, how do I say? Not abstaining from pleasure, because I think abstaining from undisciplined pleasure, abstaining from pleasure that is out of control, right? So I think a lot of men don't, like, you got to ask yourself, why am I feeling the urge to go look at porn every day or every second day? Why do I feel the urge to... Why am I so overstimulated and feel this urge every single day, right? I exhaust my energy and I'm so preoccupied and I've like so much shit to do that shit doesn't really cross my mind. I use my relationship as a vehicle to express those feelings when necessary, but I'm not addicted to them. I think that's a problem. People get addicted to the feelings of pleasure. People get addicted to the feelings of sex, and they begin to fall in love with the emotion. And when you fall in love with the emotion, you become the woman. And the man is not meant to become the woman. The man is meant to stay the man. I was asking because I wanted to know how you get over the overwhelming temptation, or what practices you put into place to become more disciplined. That's a great question. And I can tell you, I can give you an answer. Okay, because I've been on both sides. I've been a weak, feeble man who was just chasing pleasure and just you don't have to, when you're a boy, you don't have control and discipline over your emotions and over your feelings, right? It's not to suppress the feelings, it's to come to terms with them and to befriend them, and then to not let them control you, but you control them. You are driving the car. You're not letting your emotion drive it. And this is not just about pleasure and orgasms and masturbating, right? It's really a symbol for controlling all emotion. You can't be in love with love. You can't let love, the emotion of love or happiness, drive your ship. Because then the ship has a rudder that goes all over the place. You are all over the place because you're at the whims of your emotion. And emotion is, by definition, like it's up and down. So if you can stay somewhat neutral through that, right? Don't get too high, don't get too low. So basically being an observer of yourself. Dylan said, I like that. I like that idea. Being an observer of yourself. I think when you look at yourself from like a bird's eye, which is hard to do, it's difficult to do. But when you go top down and you realize, I think what Joe Rogan said one time, be the hero in your own journey. Holy shit, bro's got the Kratos beard. I love it, man. It's a pandemic beard. Kratos is a God of War character, I think. Yeah, man, I don't fuck around. Be an observer of yourself. Be an observer of yourself in a way where what Joe Rogan said, be the hero in your own movie. So what would your hero do? Your hero would be in control. Your hero would be disciplined. Your hero would be, think of your favorite superhero. What would they do? Be that hero. Be your hero in your own journey. They wouldn't fuck around, waste time, and let themselves get addicted to the pleasures of life. It's not to say you don't enjoy the pleasures. It's not to say you can't experience sexual pleasure. That's not the case here. Because the body and the mind is meant to be experienced in all levels, right? But do it in a controlled and disciplined way. If you're going to do it with purpose. Do it with, I feel this huge energy rise, and maybe you need to get that energy rise out of you, right? And so that's one mechanism to do it. However, you got to ask yourself, why is the energy rise so consistent? Are you exercising? Are you draining that battery? Because it's not really exercising so you don't feel the urge to be horny and masturbate. It's like exercising because like it's something disciplined to do. It's something that's going to build your health, wellness, mentality. And the side effect is that, I'm draining the battery. I don't feel this huge emotional urge to seek, because it's just chasing one sexual fucking orgasm to the next. That's what people like chase like so often. It's like you have to be in control of your emotion, energy, motion. Got that from Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah. Emotion. Yeah, right. That's a good, really good foundational book on money. If you've never got taught much about money and you don't have good role models in financial, in fiscal intelligence, then definitely go check Rich Dad Poor Dad out. It's going to give you a really basic overview and introduction into that. So how do you overcome the temptation after that long preamble? Exercise as often as you reasonably can, every day if you can, a little bit. Mindfulness. Get outside and breathe every morning. Ground yourself. Grounding yourself comes through getting outdoors, and grounding yourself comes through breathing, purposeful breathing. You control. Eating whole nutritious foods. So basically, did it come from the ground? Does it fly? Does it breathe? So like you may not eat animals, and that's fine. So does it come from the ground, or is it made and refined in a plant, in a machine, with a machine? You want to avoid those. Okay, you want things that swim, they fly, they breathe, and they come from the ground. They come from the earth, essentially. You want to prioritize your sleep. It's huge. If you're not sleeping well, you don't have quality sleep, you don't have good duration, you don't have good consistency, then every single body system, every single one, immune system, muscular system, nervous system, cognitive health, disease, everything gets worse. Your proclivity towards being less social, everything. So if you can master those foundational things and you can work on those foundational things, everything else will get better. Yes, you have to take care of your physical body. You have to. Because your physical body and mental body are interconnected. So mind is body, body is mind. As you move one, you move the other and you build momentum. And so probably the easiest thing to do is move your body, right? That often is the easiest thing to do. Where sometimes moving the mind is harder. It's more difficult to grasp, right? Especially when you find it difficult to maybe get outdoors and you don't have to meditate. You don't even have to close your eyes. Just sit outdoors. Just sit outside. No distractions, no phone, no nothing. Just breathe. Just notice your breathing. What am I thinking today? What am I feeling? What am I planning? That's it. So getting control over the overwhelming temptation is those things, and also finding your purpose, finding your personal legend. Finding your personal legend, right? And read The Alchemist if you want to know more about this. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, right? Check out the link I sent you and just go get it. It's an amazing book. Finding your personal legend, it is like this universal calling in everyone has it. Everyone has this universal calling that we're all here for, to something that we're here to do, something that we're destined to achieve and do in this life. And it might change over your lifetime, but it's figuring out who you are, building self-awareness through self-reflective writing and personality testing and conversations with people, open, honest conversations with people. And then it's doing things you're curious about. What are you curious about? Try some new things. And I think you have to get over that speed hump. You know, if you don't know what your personal legend is, what you're here on this planet, it sounds so like, it sounds so like fucking in the sky. Like, what are you on this planet to do? It's like, it's something that, you know what it is? If you could tell, if no one knew about it, would you still do it? So, if you could tell no one about what you were doing, would you still do it? And that, I think, is part of the answer to what a personal legend is. Because a lot of people are doing things just because they don't want to say they do them to their parents, to their friends, to society. So I think read that book and find your personal legend. Go on the hunt and the process to finding it. Take care of your body, take care of your minds. And develop positive relationships with people, because often people who are overwhelmed with the emotion to constantly chase pleasure. I don't know why those comments are doing things for clout or just to make your parents happy. Fuck that. Yeah, but so many people get trapped, man. They get trapped trying to please others. And I get it, because sometimes that saves a lot of grief and anguish and arguments. Sometimes you feel guilty and you want to pay them back, right? But you're right, fuck that. Like, we have one life, and we have to be selfish in that sense that we can't live for another. We have to live for ourselves first, and by taking care of ourselves, then we can fully, wholly help others. We won't be resentful for the world then. We won't be resentful to the world. How do you get past that phase? Which phase? Because there's a delay on the video, so I don't know which component of what I was talking about. Which phase? Yeah, so I'm going to read the other comments. So the phase of not caring about clout, which is essentially what others think. You know what? I think it's a difficult question because I don't know if there's one thing I can say that's going to flick a light switch like that. I don't know. Let me think about it. What's the one thing that... Oh, you know what? I'll give you a tactic that I did. Because I was noticing... I think you have to be very careful about who your circle is, who the people around you are. Are they uplifting, empowering, positive people that you want to work with, that you admire, that have character traits that you like? Or are they energy-sucking, emotion-sucking people? Right? That's going to be huge. Because I think you should care about what people think and you shouldn't care about what people think. Because people matter. People matter the most. People, that's it. Life is about people. So I think we should care about what each other think, but we shouldn't care about what each other think more than what we think about ourselves. Shouldn't care about what others think more than we care about ourselves and we think about ourselves. Okay? And Martin said maybe using social media less. And I think you're 100% right, Martin. And that's where I was thinking and going. Because, as you guys may have seen on my Instagram, I don't follow anybody. I follow 0 people now. And I have done for, I don't know, about a year, 6 months, 8 months, I don't know, whatever it is. And that has allowed me to clear up a lot of space in my head. Because it's natural to scroll through that social media and feel emotions of envy and jealousy and wanting to impress others. So you have to create conditions that don't allow it. Now, does that get to the root cause of it? No, but it gives you some space to figure out why you felt those things. And so I would recommend either following 0 people or imagining like you have 50 chips. And if these 50 chips are your 50 favorite people in the world that you want to have in your circle. It could be Dwayne Johnson, it could be Joe Rogan, and it could be LeBron James. It could be like these big influential people that you know that really inspire you, right? They don't make you feel jealous and envious, but they inspire you. Yeah, 50 chips. Like 50 people that you can follow maximum, or like 10, 20, you define the number. For me, it's 0. Because I'm not trying to worry about what other people are doing. I got to stay focused, right? And so how you get out of that phase, I think, is just a constant pursuit of self-development and trying to be better. I think it's it. It's like it's not going to happen overnight, and you have to make peace with that. It didn't for me. And you know, it'll peak back up every now and again. It's like a fucking crazy fucking ex-girlfriend that just wants to get back in your life every now and again. You know, she'll just knock at the door. You just say, fuck off. I'm busy. I'm trying to get better here. And so it's a constant thing, especially in your 20s and your teenage years, as some of you guys may have just been through. You know, Anthony said it took me from 30 to 20 to drop that clout chasing. I lost literally all my friends leaving the clout phase. Yeah. You say you lost your friends, but I don't know if they really were friends then. If they really were valuable friends to you, is the question. It's doubtful to me. We got to upgrade our circle. And it's not to say some people are destructive. Some people are self-destructive. Some people just like, it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty for it. That's very hard to find, though. I mean, that's really why I'm on the internet with you, because it's difficult to find a person to build and communicate with like we are right now. Well, that's the thing, brother. This is what I did. Dylan. Like I'm fortunate where I've also developed like a good circle now, right? And the circle, they're all like different people. A lot of them don't know each other, right? However, my circle just doesn't extend to people in real life. It extends to people who haven't met me. Like, some of the biggest influences in my life are people I've never met, right? People I've discovered through the amazing internet, right? These amazing individuals in our society who are incredibly inspirational and are living an incredibly uplifting and empowering life towards excellence. Find those people, man. Find those people. Follow those people. Learn from those people. Ask questions to those people, and emulate the characteristics and traits that you admire, that you want to actualize into yourself. And then you soon discover, like, you soon befriend people in your real life who have those similar traits and who like those similar people, and then you have people in real life who you can join with on that path towards betterment, towards having that close, strong circle of uplifting people. And I think the quickest way to do it, or the one effective way to do it, is it's easy to remove than add. So removing old destructive friends is incredibly beneficial. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, you don't have to message them and say, hey, fuck you, I'm done with your shit. You don't have to do that. It can be as, just distance yourself. You gotta be careful where you put your energy. Just gotta be careful where you put your energy, man. You don't have to go out your way to. You don't have to go your way to do anything. You can just not see those people as often, and then you can start focusing on the. Okay, when you do things like hobbies, your profession, your work, like, there are going to be some positive, uplifting people there. Get around those people, and if you don't have those hobbies, start them. Do a martial art, like a jiu-jitsu. Start exercising. Join a gym that has like a good community and culture around it, and you can make some friends around that. Because the one thing about people that are exercising and are physically fit and at a gym, they all want to get better. They all want to get better in one way or another, and some of it's for vanity. A lot of it's for vanity. A lot of it's for clout chasing, right? All right, but like, there are positive characteristics around that. And all people aren't like that, but some people are, but some people aren't. And there's going to be some great uplifting people you're going to meet there. Joining clubs and communities, and joining communities of people. You have to join communities of people, right? That are doing great things. And then one person at a time, it just trickles down and it just gets better and better. Anthony says we should create an app on the phone that kicks you out of apps if you pass a certain time limit. I think that already exists. I think you can do it on your computer. There's definitely programs that do that. And I'm pretty sure there's already apps that do that. But here's the thing. It assumes the person's going to have the discipline to do that. So if the person has the discipline to download the app, put the screen limiter on, they usually don't need the app because they have the discipline just not to use the app. Now, this is not like a rule. It's like some people, it's very helpful. But like, I think that's why those apps are largely, I don't know, maybe not as successful, because if you have the discipline to do all that, you probably have enough discipline to just use the app less. And, for example, here's a tactic. Don't put any apps on your front screen, or put them all in folders. So you don't, and black and white your screen. So it's not like looking at colorful candy. Like, the colorful candy is enticing. Anthony says, looking back now, I can honestly think they were around me because, one, I was popular with girls. Grandma raised my allowance, so I bought my friends chips at school. Also, I wore latest fashion. Shaking my head. Yeah, man. I mean, when you're a kid, it's like, that's really, especially when you're a kid on social media, it's most of the things you see are surrounded around that. Like, those things are important to you. And then when you grow older, when you mature, you develop into who you are, who you're becoming, you realize the priorities shift. It doesn't matter as much what you're wearing. I wear almost the same shit every day, right? I keep it simple, monochromatic colors. I don't have to think about that shit. But I didn't when I was younger. I was into fashion. I respect it. I like it. I like looking good and feeling good. But like, you care about like, I'd buy the expensive like music hip hop tour merch, right? I spent thousands of dollars over the years, right? For what? I ended up fucking selling most of it now. I'm still trying to sell it. And what do you want to buy a black Life of Pablo jacket? $200. It's on Grailed. Anyway, it depends, because it depends how your parents raise you. It depends how like the circle you have is uplifting and enforcing those traits already. And so of course those people were there because you had something they wanted, that you had something that they desired. They valued money, you buying them things, you looking fresh, and your popularity, right? Kids value those things. In our modern day, generally speaking. But as you grow older, I mean, it's funny because how much really changes. Like, it just evolves. It's like, now we're wearing suits. Now we care what car. I'm talking about what car you have and what watch you have, and I can now buy you fancy dinners. It all just evolves. Like, those people still exist as adults. They're just grown babies. They're just bigger, right? But if you can evolve past that, though, I think that's when the transformation really happens. Dylan says discipline is the key, because I think you've said it over 100 times tonight. You don't need motivation. People think they need motivation. I used to look up motivational videos. Eric Thomas. Fucking Eric Thomas. Well, like, he helped me a lot for those 5-6 a.m. wake-ups to hit the basketball courts and work on my craft. He did. But you don't need motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is like busting a nut. It's just a little bit of pleasure, a little bit of then it's over, right? It's not long-lasting. It's not chronic. It's not a habit. Discipline is what you need, because discipline gets you up day after day, regardless of how you feel. Motivation gets you going when you're feeling good, when you're feeling high. It helps you get high, helps you get up. You don't need motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is non-emotional. Discipline is disciplined. Discipline is doing something that you're going to do regardless of how you feel. And that's what I do. That's it. I get out there and I weight train and I run regardless of how I feel, because it needs to be done. That's it. It needs to be done. I said to myself I'm going to do it because XYZ benefits. I have XYZ goals, and I must keep this cog moving. Otherwise, I will grow stagnant and I will die. Anthony said, my dad warned me and told me my physique is way more better than expensive clothes. Any fat guy can wear Versace, but not everyone can have a Greek body. Yes, that's right. And it's a shame for what is that quote? It's a shame for a man to never see the full potential of his body. I'm going to look it up for you right now because it is particularly profound. It's a shame for a man to grow old. Oh, God damn it. Maybe one of you guys can drop the quote. Grow old, quote, body. It's a shame for a man to grow old without never seeing. It's a shame for a man to grow old. Here it is. Socrates. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Do not be an amateur in the matter of physical training. Find the beauty and strength of which your body is capable. Find it. And that is the process of doing that. That teaches you so much. And so, yeah, because it's the physique and the physical presence that is one thing, but then it's also the strength that which that possesses. You're strong and resilient enough to be capable to defend yourself, to be strong, to lift things, to pick things up. You look like you have a strong physical presence so you can ward off potential threats. There is value, extreme value, in being and looking strong. Compared to looking like a peacock. That's what we do. We just dress ourselves up, looking like a peacock with colourful feathers that are called clothes, to make ourselves look appealing to the opposite sex and ourselves. And that has merit, but you don't want to base your whole fucking appearance and your whole body off these colourful feathers called clothes that you're putting on you. There's got to be something under there that's fucking strong. Do you live by the 48 laws laws of power, Napoleon asked. I don't live by the 48 laws of power because I have assimilated some of those principles into my character and into the axioms and principles that I try and follow, that I do follow in my character. So I don't live by all 48, but some of them are particularly profound and I particularly adhere to and trying to adhere to, like conceal your intentions and say less than necessary and assume formlessness and be like water. Like those are some big ones that I see a lot of value in as I go on about my 90-minute long live stream of me rambling on, talking about saying less than necessary, which is the irony of that, as I make a 10-minute video on it. Dylan says, I think that's difficult to live by all because they contradict. But but I think there are some that are really important. I hope that he can outline those for us. Yeah, that's a good question why you say. Yes, I made a video on this. Already. Okay, I'm going to show you. Go watch it. It says, what is it? Do the 48 laws of power contradict themselves? Okay, the point is you're not meant to live by them all. Okay, here it is. It's good. I can watch my own video without getting copyright. What a world. I don't think YouTube realizes I would pay to... So here it is. The 48 laws of power contradicts itself. How do you balance the 48 laws? Okay? But sometimes they conflict and they don't always apply. Here it is. Formless. Assume formlessness. Be fluid. So clearly it's something that a lot of people have a question to. That was a young, much less bearded Alexander. Damn, big difference now, huh? Yes, sir. So go watch that video. Go put that on your watch later playlist. And go watch that. Oh hell, go watch it now. I'll finish up real soon. What you say are the most important lives. The ones I just mentioned, particularly conceal your intentions, always say less than necessary, assume formlessness. You know what? I got to bring up a list. I don't think you should live by any book's laws because I don't think you should be a slave to a book. I think you should assimilate those into your character in your life. You should find what works for you, and you should. That's right. 5 o'clock shadow versus a king beard. You should assimilate and develop those to which you find valuable. You turn them on and off like a light switch. So I think you should. Don't be slaves to them. Don't be slaves to your rules and your laws, because then you trap yourself. 48 laws of power list. Because it's been a while since I've seen it, so it's hard to really remember them. Okay. Here's the list. So these ones are particularly valuable. Consider your intentions. People talk way too much. Court attention at all costs. Get others to do the work for you. Protect credit. Make people... And see, some of these titles, they sound dirty, manipulative, and evil, but you really have to read it to understand what the hell Robert Greene is talking about. Oh, fuck off, free course. Give me 4 days to change your life. Fuck you. Pop up. Yeah, love that. Win through actions, never through argument. That's something I've definitely been... that's a hard lesson to learn, but it's something that is critically important to know. Be the change you want to see in the world. Don't try and change the world. Don't get infected by misery and misfortune. That's avoid the losers and complainers. Associate with the happy and the winners. It's hugely important. Get help by appealing to self-interest, never to their mercy. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Crush your enemy totally. I think that's a beneficial one for the athletes and competitors out there. The heavy business-minded individuals. Recreate yourself. That's a huge one. Be the master of your own identity. Don't let others define you. That's a huge one. This one, Law 35, master the art of timing. Never seem in a hurry, but look calm and collected, like you always have things under control. Very important. despise the free lunch. Freebies come with strings attached. Instead of taking freebies, offer them. Generosity is a sign and magnet for power. I think that is really important in working with people, developing relationships, and not letting people have power and influence over you by taking all their freebies. Never appear too perfect, I think, is actually important. I think it's important to humble yourself and make yourself a bit... Oh, wow, that's a nice graph. That's nice. Very good. I like that. Anyway, yeah, what was I just reading? Preach the need to never appear too perfect. Yeah, I think that's a big one. I think that's important. I think when you appear too perfect, you make yourself a lot less relatable, and you're on this pedestal that is hard to comprehend, and it's like you can't relate to. You seem like you're above everybody else. It's like we're all the same. I've been where you've been. I have my we all have insecurities. We all have weaknesses. And I'm not better than you. I'm just, I don't know. That's a still one I grasp. I go back and forth on, and like, who can we be better than others? And in competition we are, but in life, human beings are all human beings. We've just developed and refined our characters in different ways. I highly doubt the authors themselves slave themselves to what they write. Of course, that's the point. It's like, so if the authors don't do it, don't expect yourself to do it. So based on your journey and what you have been through, what would you say was the hardest thing to overcome? Myself. It's always myself. It's always ourselves. We are our own worst enemy. It's not the things that happen to us. It's how we respond. It's never others. It's not this pandemic. It's not the death of family members. It's not trauma or abuse. I mean, actually, that is a component to it if you're especially young when that happens. But it's always myself. It's always how we respond and how we deal. It might not be our fault or your fault that certain things happen to you, but it's your responsibility now to take care of it. It's your responsibility to handle yourself and conquer yourself in your mind and reshape and reinvent yourself. It's your responsibility. So maybe not your fault, but it's your damn responsibility. So do something fucking about it. No one's coming to save you. So the hardest thing to overcome is always myself. It's always yourself. But I think I've got a pretty decent grasp on myself now, because I've gone through some of the harder times already so far. Like I've and when you consistently put yourself in the dirt, when you consistently expose yourself to voluntary suffering, pain, and endurance, then that it makes the harder things easier. Do you trust the red pill philosophy and the blue pill stuff on YouTube? I haven't really watched it. I haven't really watched it. My main exposure to it is watching Elliot Hulse. Okay? And I'm a fan of Elliot Hulse. That's a weird thing to say. He's been of positive influence to me over the years. And so that's the furthest I've gone whenever he's dipped his toe in it. But I haven't gone out of my way to look into it. But I've watched The Matrix recently, and from that basic philosophy of red pill versus blue pill, why wouldn't anybody... Well, you can actually see why people would want to take the blue pill, because they want to stay, like that one guy in the first Matrix, spoilers, who teamed up and with the... What do you call them? The fucking Agent Smiths. He teamed up with the other side because he didn't want to live. He felt trapped through the red pill life. He felt he was awoken and he felt trapped. He always running, always fighting. He wanted to go, to his... He just wanted to forget, live a nice life, eat his steak, and just be normal, not be awake. And so there's an appeal to a blue pill lifestyle. But to me, I would always take... I don't know, I think that's a difficult part of it. I think I would always want to be awoken to the truth of reality. You know, you'd rather live in a reality of truth rather than a reality of lies and facade and manipulation. And so, based on that, that's as far as red pill, blue pills I've gone. It's just the understanding of the Matrix, where it came from. I wonder where it came from beforehand. I wonder if the Matrix made it up. Master thyself. Exactly, Dylan. Dylan says, really enjoy how transparent Elliot is, and I think you are like that also. But I assume you're taking the advice you gave us, which is to emulate who have qualities what that we like. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't make these qualities out of thin air. Well, you actually do by doing actions, like by taking certain disciplined actions. You hone and create those qualities, but you also that's how you make them into habit. But you don't know they exist until you see them in other people, until you create them yourselves. And so it's our choice to do that every single day by the decisions we make. They get further towards that or further away from that. Anthony, I saw the truth of reality, and no matter what my friends and family say, I won't go back. I like my discipline and self-improvement lifestyle. Now I seek knowledge and I grow wise and strong. As you should. As you should, and as we all should, in our own way. That is what we all can live. And on that note, lads, and any females that could be watching, I'm going to leave you guys there. Oh. Tali Freeman, what the fuck? Why was this recommended to me? Why was this recommended to you, Tali? Because this is the best motherfucking live stream you've ever seen, man. So tell me, Tali, who are you? Why'd you click on this? It wasn't just recommended to you. You clicked on it. How did you come here? Has anybody come here who actually doesn't follow me? Because that happened last time. So Tali Freeman, if you're still in here and you haven't bounced out of here, then tell us, why are you here? How did you get recommended? I'm going to give you some time. And if there's anybody who, Tali took the blue pill. He said, I'm still here, weirdo. Tali. Welcome, my friend. Well, look, you may have got recommended because you may be interested in philosophy. Books like 12 Rules for Life, 48 Laws of Power. Books about philosophy and self-development, psychology, and human behavior. You may have also got recommended because you're into podcasts. Other than that, maybe you just clicked on a video because you're bored. And because YouTube's recommending things because you're bored. Anthony says, welcome to the wisest live stream on the planet. And I've been subscribed to this since the 48 Laws of Power. I'm definitely not the wisest, but I'm just doing my best I can. That's it. So unless you guys got any last comments, questions, concerns, I'm going to get out of here. Started off okay, and it's got a lot better as we went along. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm going to come back to some in-person Talking Chimps pretty soon, which is my podcast, if you guys don't know, available on all audio platforms. And appreciate you guys checking in, chiming in, and watching. Hope you guys stay safe, stay well, and stay disciplined, because that is, as we've been talking about, I think that's the key. I think Jocko Willink is right. Discipline equals freedom. Martin, I don't have these scheduled for certain times. I scheduled this one. Because I thought it would be beneficial. But it'll usually be in the morning, me morning, so about 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is the evening in America. So usually I'll do it then. But I like doing them randomly sometimes. But I'm going to schedule them out from now on, so you guys will see me do that. So stay tuned for the scheduling of those ones. And the in-person ones will be dropping in the next couple weeks. Much love. Stay safe, chimps. Stay disciplined. Jamaica? Fucking Dylan's from Jamaica. Love that shit.